Good day, fellas. I hope you are ready for your daily dose of skill. Today we are going to talk about the KPZ 7P. Yesterday we had a video about this tank. Today we are going to put our final thoughts together and I will say, is this tank worth it or not so much? And where the tank goes, where the stat goes of the tank. Fellas, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, please pay attention at the gun. Gun is looking beautiful. DPM is looking okay. The tank has some armor and it's quick, but you know what is the truth? The tank looks better on the paper than it actually is. Over some time I played like 46 games with this tank. I tried to make it work. Yesterday my performance was like 3.8 thousand damage and 1000 assisting damage, which is not necessarily horrible, but I can tell you one thing, that I was struggling to make this tank work and I do not really think I am alone. From what I've seen, this is not a heavy tank, to be fair with you. Skill, what do you mean it's not a heavy tank? Listen, it doesn't feel like a true heavy. Like if you would take 277 and you would go to fight somewhere at the ridge line, you are pretty confident that people won't penetrate you or they will struggle to hit your cupola. With this vehicle, it doesn't feel this way. It feels like you are getting penetrated into the face. And let's not forget the Arta. Arta can spank you very, very, very heavily for 400 damage consistently. And I'm speaking about the 261 spanking, right? In other words, Wargaming did an awesome job to create the tank, which is not broken, and it is kind of niche tank in the same time. Do I think it is worth it? Fellas, after playing with this tank for like 10 hours straight, I truly think the tank is not as good. In fact, you cannot even compare this tank to the Super Conqueror, although Super Conqueror is a meta tank, right? You cannot even compare it with E5, if I can say. So I think E5 is a better tank. And in fact, we finished rating this tank in the index page. You can check it out, but overall it is getting 3 stars, and I think this is where this tank belongs, and this is what this tank deserves. At this point, I want to show you how this tank behaves when everything is looking fine and whenever we are having the best combination of the things, right? I can't shit-talk this tank. I just cannot say it's useless overall. The thing is, it's just not epic and it's just not that good, you know? This is what I'm trying to say. It's not a horrible tank, it's not the worst tank in the world of tanks, but it's not an epic tank. And it is good, considering that tank can cost up to $200 or 200 euros if you are paying in pure gold price. I think that is very, very good that this tank is not broken and people would not feel like they are missing out for not taking this tank, right? Anyways, I want to show you one game when this tank behaves and couple of games when I just simply could not do anything. I misplayed or the tank simply misbehaved. Let's do this. Okay, fellas, so this is the best battle which I managed to craft with this tank. Look into matchmaking. Matchmaking is looking very, very nice in this kind of situation, right? We are playing against the tier 8s. There is only one Arta overall. And the tank feels okay in this kind of situation. But hey, fellas, tell me the tier 10s which are not feeling okay against the tier 8s. Even the Type 5 Heavy can bully the Bloody Liz or 5060p, right? It doesn't really matter whatsoever, right? That's what I want to highlight. So yeah, other than that, you can go on top of the hill relatively quickly because this tank has a bit of the speed if you are playing with a turbo. Without turbo, I noticed that this tank feels a bit lackluster and it doesn't feel that great. Now, pay attention at this. This is the situation whenever you are meeting someone who doesn't really know the angles, how to penetrate this tank yet, but soon it will be over because it's not that easy to, it's not that hard to figure this out. This tank has plenty of the weak spots, right? Luckily, the 277 did not penetrate us and now we are playing against him and we are trying to have a conversation. One more thing which is very important to highlight, even though a PCRs on the paper feels very, very nice, and I would definitely never ever say that it is not good, but truth to be told, 270 penetration is just simply not cutting it against the heavy tanks. That being said, you kind of need to shoot some gold ammunition, right? I think that is very, very important thing to highlight, and in fact, I felt like I was spamming gold most of the time whenever I played with this tank, unless I was dealing against the tier 8 tanks, right? Then I did not feel that bad. Meanwhile, this gentleman is doomed. Unfortunate happens. It happened to be that we are having a decent performance here, right? Beautiful fire into the side of the 50-60p, which is absolutely glorious, and it is very, very nice. And one more thing which I truly want to highlight. The gun of this tank looks very, very nice on the paper, but in reality it trolled me quite a lot. That being said, the gun handling is not that great of the tank. In other words, I would say E5 has better gun, I would say Super Conqueror has better gun, and so on, right? It's not bad. Don't get me wrong, the gun handling of this vehicle is not the biggest pile of caco, and it is not the worst gun handling ever, but I cannot say that, yeah, this is the gun which I trust. Oh, fellas, you have no bloody clue. The KPZ 07 gun handling is absolutely amazing, and you should buy this tank. Absolutely not. I did not feel this way, and I do not really think I'm alone with all of this. And also, yesterday, I asked people how their opinion looks like from their side, where the KPZ 07 goes, and to be fair with you, most of the people said it doesn't look that great as it is on the paper, right? Look at this stock Tiger 2. I feel bad by shooting the stock Tiger 2, but oh well, what can you do in this kind of situation, right? We are just enjoying experience, and we are just farming at this point. All I need to do, I need to have the farmer's hat on and enjoy myself to the maximum in this situation, right? That's all we need to do. And once again, if I would showcase only battle like this, you would think, skill, this tank is absolutely glorious. But fellas, it is only the start. I can promise you that. I am going to show the games when either I did not figure it out how to make this vehicle work, or either I felt like the tank is simply not that awesome or not that great, right? And I think this is going to be important thing to highlight, an important thing to say. Anyway, so far the score is 7-2. Everything looks okay. We have 6,000 damage dealt, and I was thinking for a moment maybe we can push this game to have a 10,000 damage, right? Because there is definitely a possibility, but unfortunately I lost most of my hit points, and since I lost most of my hit points, unfortunately, but I simply do not have any flexibility to play this game at this point, so I definitely need to stay passive as much as I physically and possibly can, while still being part of our team, and while still trying to obviously do something, right? Probably a question which people would ask the most, Skill, what would you like more? Would you like 780 more, or would you like KPZ more? I would say 780 feels like a better tank for me. That being said, do I think the price of this vehicle, which is, let's say, 1 million free experience, is it actually worth it? Would I say to buy this tank for everyone? Honestly speaking, fellas, no. I do not really think this tank is worth the price tag, and I do not really think the tank is that epic that every single person should get it. In the same time, what I really need to highlight as well is that it is not necessarily bad that the tank is not the best tank in the world of tanks, considering the price tag on this vehicle, right? So to sell average tank in inflated price, I think that is okay, you know? What do I mean by saying this? You do not need to buy it, fellas. Keep this in mind. You are not forced to buy this tank, and you do not even need to consider this, right? If you are a budget player, especially if you are a budget player, right? Other than that, the tank is not the worst tank in the world of tanks, and I believe some people would enjoy playing with it. But once again, keep this in mind, the price tag of this tank as well, right? Let's see the score of this vehicle, and I supposed to say of this battle. And we are back with a solid ace, with a high caliber, 7.6 thousand damage, 600 assisting damage. A beautiful score overall. I cannot say anything bad in this game, apart couple of shots which we missed, but oh well, what can we do? And we made a bit of the credits, but keep this in mind, I had 100% personal boosters on, so you cannot really look at this. Looking into all of this, without boosters, I would lose 30,000 credits or something, right? So we need to definitely keep this in mind. Let's keep going. Now you are going to see not so great games with this tank. Okay, fellas, now we are going to see not so great games with this vehicle. And looking at this, I remember this game that I simply felt like I am kind of useless while playing. I simply felt like I cannot do absolutely anything, and let's dig a bit deeper why so. So first things first, what do you want to do with this tank? Or maybe I supposed to say what you do not really want to do with this tank. You don't really want to get so much attention towards yourself, right? You just do not want to do that, right? Yes, you are a heavy tank on the paper, but you do not really want to be the first one who will take one for the team. You have a gun which is behaving most of the time, but sometimes the gun is simply saying, no. Sometimes the gun is just simply saying, nah, I won't work for you, which happens. Okay, let's see this game. Quite simple play from our side. We are sitting in hold down position, and we are just simply waiting until enemies will try to get involved and until enemies will make one or another mistake. I am paying attention at this standard B. I just do not really care about him because this gentleman is getting bullied by MX M454, and you know, there is nothing what we can change about this. We are just waiting until enemies are going to make one or another mistake over there. Since this tank is kind of low, it is annoying to use one or another hold down position. As an example, if you would play here with something taller, right, you would feel significantly better. So now it's kind of awkward because you need to go a bit up the slope in order to have a decent gun depression, because if you won't, it is going to be a bit of the complicated thing, right? It is relatively hard to use some of the positions with this vehicle, right? That is okay. Let's move on. Obviously, not much to do. First couple of minutes, absolutely nothing done. I am too afraid and I am too paranoid to make a hardcore pressure in front. It is just simply not really worth it. So at this point, we are just waiting until the 277 will peak. He peaked. Unfortunately, I did not react properly to do damage and to penetrate this guy, which is happening once in a while, but still not much what we can change there. I can recognize that our team is winning this game, and I need to figure out how I can get some use of all of this, and overall how we can make a bit of pressure. Then 277 made a decision to go through the open field, which is very, very nice, but once again I am paying attention into the score, and I definitely see that our team is up 6,000 hit points, and I am just simply paranoid because of the armor to make a bit of pressure. I know it sounds weird. As an example, as you can see, the Giga Chad Badger is in front of the action, and he is beating the living crap out of the enemies, and unfortunately I just simply I am feeling like if I am going to get involved, I will take one for the team. Meanwhile, I grew some balls, which is absolutely amazing, so we punished the 277, and obviously Grille instantly saying, hello, how is your day? I hope you are doing very, very fine. Grille penetrated us right over there, as you can see that no questions asked whatsoever, and that was a legit and fair penetration. So if I am going to peak once again, it is going to be just simply bad story. So what do we need to do? We need to figure out how we can approach enemies in a different way. And yes, I'm playing a bit with a speed, right, just to go into the action quicker and to show you my question marks with this vehicle, if I can say so. Meanwhile, we found the other grille. What we are doing, we are loading high explosives instantly, and we are saying hello for him. Luckily, we found this guy trying to run away, which is absolutely glorious, and it is very, very nice. Thank you very much. We eliminated the grille from the game, and we are feeling like $1,000,000 at this point. Hip hip hooray. We are in fact even stopping here for a moment, not to be too aggressive and not to make a silly goose mistake, you know, because this is not what we want to do. Also, please pay attention what is the score, and the score is 8-3. That basically means enemy team is melting, and we need to get involved into all of this. We are having high explosives loaded, and we are shooting high explosive for green. The moment I was aggressive. And it happened like 3 or 4 times when I simply got one-shotted by the Fava. 3-4 times nothing. This armor simply doesn't work against the tanks like Fava. Fine, fair enough. I'm accepting this. What can you do? And round number 3. What is happening whenever you are being aggressive with this vehicle, right? So what do we have here? We are saying, oh, this time we are going to make pressure, and this time we are going to make this tank work. Couple of shots in the face. We are kind of crying, but we are okay. We will survive, and we are going to be just fine. This is whenever you want to be aggressive with this tank, right? Yeah, side scrapping is not really an option. People can spank you in the face without bigger problems whatsoever. IS-7 is thinking about crossing, but you know what? We are feeling fine. IS-7. Yeah. Skill, where are you getting penetrated with this tank? If you would pay attention over there, I know the bush is blocking this a bit. This is a weak spot, right? If someone is hitting you here and whenever you are side scrapping, this is a humongous angle to hit. And plus on top of that, you can get penetrated here. Side scrapping is not that a great option, huh? Side scrapping is not feeling that good when enemies know how to penetrate you, don't you think so? Yeah, unfortunate. So yeah, we are living and we are learning. So what do I mean by saying this, fellas? By saying this, I am just highlighting this tank is far away from being ideal. You cannot say, oh, this is the tank with which you can be very aggressive. So you kind of need to treat this tank like a bit of the medium vehicle, right? And whenever you are getting into the action, whenever you are trying to make a bit of pressure and whatnot, well, then you are finishing everything like this, and it doesn't feel good. I can promise you that. Though this is one of the first games for me with this tank on the stream, and I try to figure out and to dig deeper. Can I be like a super heavy tank, and can I actually go in front? And no. Not really. You just simply cannot do that, and if you will get too involved, well, you are going to finish the game just like so with a 2000 damage, well, if you are lucky. So what is the purpose of this YouTube video for now, right? Why did I show the good game when the tank works fine, and why I showed couple of the bad games whenever you are getting one-shotted by the trash bird, or alternatively whenever you are just simply being too aggressive? I want to highlight one thing, that this tank is going to be insanely hard tank to play with, right? I just want to highlight this. Before you are opening your wallet for 200 euros or by spending all of your resources like this, I just simply want to highlight this, right? Do not expect to get the broken tank for yourself, and obviously this is a good thing overall for a game health. It is truly a good thing. You are getting yourself kind of a niche tank which is not particularly strong at anything, and which is not super duper hyper turbo good. So in a way you are not feeling like you are missing out, which is great. Other thing, if you are planning to buy this tank, I would highly recommend to use the free experience. This is the best price, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, it's not cheap. 1 million free experience is not cheap. But if I would be in your place and I would say, I don't care skill, I'm a tank collector, I really want to get this tank for myself, I would highly recommend to use blueprints if you have it, fragments if you have it, and after that just stop everything with a free experience. I think this is the best value if you have it or if you can exchange it. Anyways, that's what I have for you today, fellas. I don't think this tank is meta breaking. I don't really think it is a meta tank, and in fact I do not really think it is even great tank in the world of tanks. I think it is average Joe with a humongous price tag and kind of niche game style. That's what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the session. I hope you had a great time together with us. Obviously, remember to leave the virtual kiss for us, which is a like on the video. And overall, thank you very much for watching. The main reason why I'm digging so deep with the tanks, which are extremely expensive when I have time to do so, right? Aka when Wargaming is giving us tanks before it is released to the public to just simply highlight the ups and downs of the tank and just to highlight the risks and overall what you are getting for your money. Anyways, thank you very much for everything. I appreciate you and see you next time. Skill is out for today. Peace.